Welcome back to the IU427 garage, everybody. We are back working on the Texas Mk4, the prototype, and today, you guessed it, more panels. I spent the last few days working on the rear cockpit wall panels. I'm to the point now where I've got them all pre-drilled. I've got them fit the best I can. I did have some issues with the back, the big back piece. It fit like hot garbage the first time I put it in there. It appears as though the bend that goes right here to lean that panel back just wasn't bent far enough. But we managed to kick her in place, and it fits relatively well now. I used a couple of sheet metal screws in order to get that in place. And then what I'm working on now is I've got all the panels out, and this is probably the first car that has had this many miles on it before it's been painted, or before it's actually been on the road. The last Texas car we did, we actually went and picked up in Texas, and so it was transported in our enclosed trailer. This Texas car was transported on the back of a U-Haul trailer. And so it's all, 2,000 miles of weather. Whether that was rain or wind or dust or anything else that might have been on the road. So now that we've got all the panels fit, I'm going to go through the painstaking process of cleaning the chassis. Now, some of this is our fault. As you're drilling, you're going to get all of these metal particles that attach themselves, just with static to the chassis. And so I've already vacuumed all this, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to brush this down with a paintbrush just to get the loose stuff off. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in here with some multi-purpose cleaner and a rag. And I'm going to clean all of the structural members of the chassis where the panels are going to go. I'm going to clean them all off. And then I've actually got all the powder coated panels sitting on the back of the F350 workbench right now. And then what I did with the floor panels, the ones that were bare or raw aluminum, I've actually got those behind the shop here. I'm probably going to need some light. Try that. And I've just got one coat of paint on them right now. So right here you can see I've just painted the area that is going to be seen or possibly be seen from the engine bay. And so it's just that triangular shaped area on the side of the panel and then over on the passenger panel here where the emergency brake goes. So I'm going to try to get one more coat of paint on those if this stuff tacks up before I'm ready to go in for dinner tonight. If not, I'll just hit them with 2 or 3 more coats tomorrow. That's what I'm working on right now. And light off. Boom. Make sure we're not going to hit the front of the 25th anniversary car. That would be a shame if we had to set it home with some dents or scratches in it. We're good. All right. So what I did to prep those panels is I brushed off all of the loose debris, and then I went ahead and went after them with acetone and a rag to clean up all of the marking pen that I'd used for my layout for my holes. Cleaned them up really good, and then in that area where I wanted to paint it, I just hit it with a gray abrasive pad, one of those pads, just to prep it, just to give the aluminum surface a little bit of tooth to bite into. And then I hit it with some black gloss spray paint. No primer. I figured if I put primer on and it gets chipped, it's going to be no worse than having it chipped with the aluminum underneath it. So I just went after it with the black paint first. I'll probably put a minimum of 3 coats on, maybe 4, and then those panels will probably go in tomorrow. So I plan on getting all this area cleaned up tonight, and then tomorrow I want to put those floor panels in so that by tomorrow afternoon or the following day, I can get the back and the sides of the cockpit in. And then from there, I can start working on the side panels. Hopefully, I can get this engine out over the next couple of days because the 25th anniversary car is going home tomorrow. And then we can get working on the foot boxes in this car and get moving forward on that stuff. All right, everybody, it is tomorrow. I've got the shop crane over there all ready to go. I've got all of the engine mounts, the nuts taken off the mounts. I've got the transmission A-frame out. I have the transmission just suspended by a strap right now. And I have the steering shaft out of the way. So over here, the steering shaft that we once had in right here is now out of the way. I'm going to go ahead, once I get the shop crane hooked up to the engine, I'm going to go ahead and take that wire harness and I'm going to lay it on top of the motor. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this thing off the lift. I'm going to lower the lift down. I'm going to roll this thing forward, and then I'm going to leave the back wheels on the lift, and I'm going to elevate the lift up just a little bit. So the car is at an angle, so I can go straight in with the lift, with the engine hoist, and get that engine out of there. I got an interesting comment from the car owner yesterday, something about the starter and the fact that it is right next to the 4-inch tube, and he's right. It is. It's right there. But the way I pull the engine out, we're not going to have any problems with that. That's going to come right out. My main concern is clearing the brake lines that we just put in the car over on this side, which I don't think we'll have too much trouble with. And I'll get this thing all set up. That's not too bad. That ought to work. Okay, one wheel stop. I think I may need to grab some of my own bolts. Maybe not. Let's go this way though. Oh, I need a little more. Need a little more. All right, well, hopefully I captured some of that on the other camera, but you can see it's all out. Now I'm going to see about mounting it to the stand. You know, for the little amount of time that it's actually going to be out of the car, because it'll probably be only out while I do the front foot boxes, I could almost leave it on the shop crane, because the shop crane doesn't lose pressure. And honestly, I could just lay a couple of 2x4s across the bottom legs and set the engine down on that too. So we'll see if mounting this thing to that engine stand from Factory 5 becomes an issue. I'm probably just going to leave it on the engine crane. But yep, let me get going on that. I got to get the car back up on the lift. I just got to put the ramps up in front of it, but it'd be nice to have the engine stand kind of out of my way, or the engine crane out of my way, to get the ramps in there, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, it is the next day, and as you can see, I have already started putting the floor panels in on the car. What I did before those panels went in is I went and I cleaned all of the surface of the chassis to get all the road debris that had accumulated on the car when it had been shipped out here. So with all that clean now, I don't have to worry about going back in and getting in those areas that are going to be hard to get get the chassis clean. It's all clean now, and then I went ahead and I put down a bead of sealant on all the places where we were going to have pop rivets, and this panel and the driver's side panel are in for good. Then what I did is I started working on the footbox panel here on the passenger side. So the car owner had previously pre-fit a lot of this stuff, but there were some panels that had not been pre-drilled. So a number of the holes in the bottom of this panel were not drilled. None of the holes for the bottom of the panel that makes up the footbox floor had been drilled. So we got all of those drilled, and we've got everything pretty well fit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be taking those off, and I'm going to be putting them back on now with sealant in there, and they're going to be permanent. One other thing that I did last night that I didn't show before I went in was I was working on this Coyote gas pedal. And as you can see, I've got one of the Forte's parts connection AC billet aluminum, well, that's a lot to say, pedals on here. And just like the last car we did, the 25th anniversary car, Mike sold us an orphan pedal. So normally these are sold in pairs. So you get a brake and you get a clutch. We talked Mike into making us a deal and selling us an orphan again on this one, and I managed to make this thing fit. And this time, rather than putting the pedal pad square, I don't know if you can see this, we mounted in the center of the pedal on the 25th anniversary car. This time I shoved this thing as far over as I could get, and then I trimmed this side of the pedal so we could get like an inch more clearance over this way. I also modified the top side so we got this thing to move as far over towards this 3/4 inch tube as we could possibly fit it. And so I think we managed almost a solid inch more room in between the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal, meaning side to side right here. Now I'm going to still do everything I can in order to get this panel that goes next to the accelerator pedal as far over to the right as I can. My only limitation is going to be this 1-inch square tube that runs down the side, but I think I can get that thing pushed far enough over to enable us to have more room here in the footbox for the accelerator pedal or the driver's foot, which I think is going to be far more important than anything else. So I'm going to continue working on the footbox panels over the next couple of days, but I think I'm going to end the video here. And the next time you see the car, hopefully I will have both of the foot boxes in, and I'll be moving on to either the back cockpit wall, or I'm going to be moving on to the drop trunk mod. I haven't decided which we're going to do next. Honestly, it's going to depend on how much aluminum I have in stock. I keep sheets of aluminum back here behind the workbench. And so if I have enough material to start on that drop trunk box, I may start on that, but we'll see. If you are enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Again, we appreciate every view. The channel is continuing to grow, and it's a little bit overwhelming. We just started the channel to keep car owners updated on what was going on their build. And so the fact that anybody's out there watching it is just a treat. We'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day.